Well, as we await the beginning of this high-stakes trial, Terry Austin, host and legal analyst of Long Crime Network, joining us now with her insight, and will be joining us throughout the morning. Appreciate it so much, Terry.
Great to be here, Kara.
Well, the trial, as we talked about yesterday and we continue to talk about now, made headlines even before it commenced, especially as the presiding judge acknowledged the intentional discrimination within the jury selection process. So let's talk a little bit more about that. Do you think, as we have been talking about it for 24 hours now, that this could, in a way, make a big impact on this trial and what the jury thinks?
It could have an impact on the trial. These jurors said that they could be fair, they would apply the law. But the judge really did have some discretion here. And the fact that he said he thought there was some discrimination here in terms of selecting the jurors, he could have gone on and decided to reseat those jurors. We've talked about the fact that there was a Batson challenge or a reverse Batson challenge, where actually the prosecution is saying here that the defense was trying to stack the deck, so to speak, and select jurors based on their race. The judge asked for an explanation and got an explanation from the defense attorneys, basically saying that they not selected those individuals. It wasn't based on race, they said. It was based on the fact that, they said they could not be fair. But meanwhile, there were other white jurors not taken off, and they, too, said that they could not be fair. So I think here what we're seeing is the judge just deciding that he was going to accept the explanation and let the jury go forward, even though I think he could have reseated at least those jurors, if not the entire panel. He had that discretion, but the selection had been going on for quite some time. I think the judge decided he wanted to get to the opening statements, which are scheduled for today, and he just decided, they are giving me an explanation, I'm going to accept it. I think it could be a grounds for appeal, frankly.
Let's talk. Oh, you do? Okay, that's interesting, because I was actually reading more into the Batson versus Kentucky case, and actually it was initially established, and help me here, to represent that black clients be represented fairly. So it's interesting, just the background of why this started, and then looking at how it's now being entered into this case.
Well, that's right. Usually you do see defense attorneys who accuse the prosecution of trying to stack the deck and not have enough blacks who are represented on the jury. Here, it's just the reverse of that. And historically, the reason that the case was decided was a Supreme Court case in Kentucky. It was decided because, from a social standpoint, you do want a jury to represent the individuals who are being charged. And, we know that the population here is at least 30% black, and to have one juror who is black here does not represent that community. So it is being used in a different way here, which is why people are calling it a reverse Batson charge. But ultimately, either side can appeal the results of the case. And frankly, I think the judge had discretion here to reseat those jurors. And he decided, even though the explanation he thought was good enough, that's what his end judgment was, that even though he thought it looked discriminatory, he just decided, well, I'm going to go ahead and let this case go forward. So I definitely think that there is a problem there.
We know that one of the key pieces of evidence in this trial will be the cell phone video that you just mentioned, that footage, and previously unreleased body cam video of the first officer on the scene. From what I understand, it's pretty heart-wrenching. It's pretty gruesome. Do you think we are going to see that play out in the courtroom? And then I have another piece of evidence I want to talk to you about as well.
That cell phone evidence is going to be key, and I think the jurors are going to look at that and put themselves in that position. And let's just hope race is not a factor. I know for a fact that there are parents on that jury, and they can imagine their own son who's out there jogging and looking at the video and seeing that he's being cornered. And that is what the cell phone video shows. Ahmaud Arbery is jogging down the street. It looks as though the truck is following him. It corners him, and he's trying to fight for his life. And the other footage of the police officer basically talking to the individuals who've now been charged, the McMichaels and Brian. And they're basically saying, well, you know, we thought we needed to stop him. And it was a very casual conversation when someone's life has been taken away. So I think the jury is going to look at both of those videos and put themselves in that position and basically come back and say, I wouldn't want to be in that position, and I wouldn't want my child to be in that position.
And then there's talk, I was reading in on this morning about the license plate that was on the front of this truck, and that it had a Confederate, it's a vanity plate, it's got a Confederate flag on it. And there's a discussion on whether that should be shown in this trial. What do you make of that? Should the license plate not be blurred out in that video?
There's a lot of argument back and forth on that license plate, and it basically is being shown, this is what the defense is saying, to show character evidence that these individuals have this mindset that they are sort of racist individuals, and the argument is, should that come in? And I think the state wants to show it because that is the mindset of those individuals. And the question really is, when they did this citizen's arrest, what were they thinking here? Were they really thinking that there was a burglary or other crime in progress? Or were they thinking, wow, this is someone who is running in a neighborhood that is mostly white, and why is he here? And deciding to stop this individual just because he is black. So it's a contentious argument, and I think it could make a difference if the jury actually does see that on the license plate.
Well, Terry Austin, we are going to talk throughout the day and, of course, next week. Appreciate you starting us off this morning. We are going to have gavel-to-gavel coverage of this trial, which starts today at 9 a.m. Eastern, and Terry is going to stay right here with us.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.